This is Tom Fox. I'm the Compliance Evangelist. I would like to welcome you to an exciting new series I'm putting on each month in 2017. In the month of January, I'm going to go through 30 days to a better compliance program. So each day I will detail some part of a compliance program that you can utilize to help you improve to have a best practices compliance program for 2017. With the operationalization of compliance mandated by the Department of Justice in the form of their Compliance Council, Wei Chin, and incorporated into the FCPA pilot program announced by the Department of Justice in April 2016, it's more important than ever that you upgrade your compliance program and show how you've operationalized. In this series, I'm going to help you do that. I hope you will enjoy this series. I hope you will join me, and I look forward to this journey with you. This is Tom Fox. Welcome to day 22 of 30 Days to a Better Compliance Program. Today, regional compliance committees. Yesterday, I visited with you about compliance oversight committees. Today, I want to take it in a little bit different direction because we've recently had an example of a new type of compliance committee that I think is very helpful and very useful. And that's the example of the Houston-based energy service company, Baker Hughes, which has created a regional compliance committee. They call it the Geomarket Ethics and Compliance Committee, but I'm going to call it the Regional Compliance Committee. While many companies have a board directed to ethics and compliance, or an audit committee, or a compliance oversight committee, there are not many companies with compliance committees at the regional level. This helps to create more direct ownership, accountability, and valuable transparency. This moves compliance down into all levels of a company's operation. It also significantly improves consistency of the compliance execution because it's moving compliance down into the very fabric of the company. It helps to ensure that all of the company's business objectives are achieved in a legally compliant fashion. According to the Regional Compliance Committee Charter, the committees are designed to periodically advise and provide information and insights to the Chief Compliance Officer, as well as receive compliance information from the Regional Compliance Director regarding the applicable legal and regulatory requirements, industry standards, and the company's code of conduct, and the company's compliance program as it relates to that specific region. The committee does not have primary responsibility for internal investigations, but is charged with reporting any known compliance issues to the Chief Compliance Officer, should the committee or a member be made aware of any potential risk. The committee is designed to promote clear and frequent compliance-related communications throughout the region, and it's very valuable to the overall performance of the company's compliance program within that region. The initiative has caused compliance topics to be more thoroughly discussed at regularly occurring company meetings. The incredibly useful thing is that there are communication structures both up and down the organization. This means that the compliance function has greater visibility within the region because compliance has been moved further into the middle and lower levels of the organization. So who should be on the Regional Compliance Committee? Well, if we stick with the Baker Hughes example, we've got the Vice President of the region, we have the Ethics and Compliance Officer Director of the region, we have the Legal Director for the region, we have the HR Director for the region, we have the Finance Director for the region, also the Trade Compliance Director and Supply Chain Director. Finally, there are both the Senior Director for the business unit and representatives from operations. The composition of the committee allows compliance to be fully operationalized into the company's global structure. There are multiple delineated responsibilities
for the committee. Some of these can include assisting in identifying not only potential legal and compliance risks, but also reputational risks to the company. Establishment of goals and metrics to measure against these legal and compliance goals within the region. Exercising oversight of the implementation and effectiveness of the company's overall compliance program within the region, and to make recommendations on the company's compliance practices. Reviewing and monitoring the implementation of the company's code of conduct in the region, and assisting in identification of best practices, alternative strategies, and local initiatives to enhance the overall compliance program. Assuring to the Chief Compliance Officer and senior leaders of operation that compliance goals and requirements are both established and communicated across the company. Advise management of its assessment of the compliance program, ethics and compliance risks in the region, and take steps to manage and lessen such risks. Review the business helpline complaints and other information to ensure appropriate steps are taken to modify the compliance program as appropriate. This really is an innovation that I think many companies should take a look at. It's important because it not only moves the company in a business direction that makes compliance more operationalized within the company, but it also gives you a way to essentially do a SOX 404 certification as to compliance, because each level at the regional committee has to certify compliance up the chain. This approach follows the Department of Justice mandate as articulated in the FCPA pilot program for companies to move the doing of compliance down into the business of the organization. The makeup of the regional committee is also populated by representatives from other disciplines within the global organization. This allows for a fuller, richer, and more holistic approach to not only compliance advice, but reviews consistent with the committee's charter. It also adds a dimension not seen or even really discussed in the compliance profession, because the reviewing, assessing, and recommending will provide additional endorsements up through the organization that it's actually doing compliance. And when you look at what Wei Chen has talked about and what she has said and what she has written and what is in enforcement actions certainly in 2016 and indeed in the FCPA pilot program, you see that it's the doing of compliance that is where the Department of Justice is trying to move the compliance discussion. It's not rules-based, it's not rules and regulations, it's not law, it's doing compliance. And this regional compliance committee structure gives you a mechanism to do so. It allows you to do so in a way that adds to the board compliance committee, that adds to the compliance oversight committee that I previously discussed. So what are the three key takeaways from today? Well, first of all, why is an innovation such as the regional compliance committee so important? Well, I think it really gets to where the Department of Justice is taking compliance, which is the operationalization of compliance. This moves compliance down where you have regional people looking at the quarterly results of their region, and that's really something we haven't seen before. Certainly the compliance function in the region has done that, but now you have business, legal, IT, finance, trade compliance, supply chain, sales, all looking at compliance on a regional basis. Who should be on it? Well, I'm just going to advocate that you have your senior regional management structure put in place in this compliance committee. We certainly talked about who should be on the compliance oversight committee. And I think if you duplicate that at the regional level, you will certainly be have a large asset to your company. And then finally, how does it work with other committees? Well, it supplements other committees. It gives you a way to operationalize compliance in a manner which you did not have before, but also provides information that flows upwards as well. So information flows up to the Regional Compliance Committee. That committee can take the information to both the Chief Compliance Officer and the Compliance Oversight Committee, and indeed all the way up to the board. But it also provides you an excellent channel for those hierarchical committees to flow information down. So the Regional Compliance Committee is a very innovative structure. I thank Baker Hughes and their Chief Compliance Officer, Jay Martin, for allowing me to talk about it with such specificity. But it's something that I would ask you to very much consider for your compliance program. And once again, trying to give you points that are things you can implement that would be relatively or at no cost. This might be one. It gives you a way to operationalize compliance that is documented. So if a regulator ever comes knocking, you'll be able to show them that you're actually doing compliance. This is Tom Fox. I'd like to thank you very much for listening to day 22 of 30 Days to a Better Compliance Program, and I hope you'll come back and listen to day 23.